Wow. So you guys blew me away yesterday. Thank you for all the comments, all the feedback, all the emails you guys sent me. Um, I think, I don't think anybody said I shouldn't be doing this. It sounds like every single one of you said you like this kind of content. You want me to maybe go into this a little bit more, talk about some of the stuff that I'm noticing, and, hopefully it can provide some sort of comfort or value for you guys. I also want to say, especially thanks to Mark, Mark Himley. Mark sent me this email this morning. You guys were all basically saying the same thing, so you guys were all on the same page. But Mark really put it in great terms and just kind of gave me that final push to say, you have to do this. This is something you really need to put out to the world because this could really help a lot of people. And that was kind of what I was feeling yesterday and the last couple of days as I was thinking about putting this kind of stuff out there. It's very different than what I've been doing on my YouTube channel. But the more that I think about this stuff, the more that I start to feel that kind of obligation that it's something that I should do, especially today's video, because today I want to talk about pain and how I am able to eliminate pain out of my life without using drugs, without using medication, without doing the things that people usually tell you you have to do to eliminate pain. And I'm including mental pain as well, mental anguish, anxiety, depression, fear, the things that we're all going through, how I've been able to conquer those and not be ruled by them without using drugs, without going to a doctor, without doing all the things that most of my life, I believed you had to do. And the big theme of today is I want you to just keep this in mind as I go through these techniques that I want to share with you. Again, I can't guarantee they're going to work for you. I have no idea. Again, the part of this is that's why I put a question mark in the title here. Is this really how it works? Is this kind of a hack to life that we can really actually eliminate pain by doing this one simple thing? It's working for me. That's all I can say. And I've definitely tried a bunch of different things. And I'm going to tell you some stories about how I tried drugs, medication, didn't get any results. Tried this thing within seconds, was pain free. So stay tuned. We'll go along for this ride. But the big concept that I want to make sure that you guys keep in mind is our whole lives, usually we are told that it's, a doctor or a professional or an intellectual or somebody smarter than us has it all figured out and they kind of know how the universe works. They've got all the answers. And so if you have an experience that might be different from what the professionals in our society tell us are the right answers, we usually tend to, unfortunately, we doubt ourselves and our own experiences. And we go, okay, I must have been hallucinating. That must have not been true. And I'm telling you, that's a really hard thing for me to tell you guys right now because my whole life, if anybody talked about the stuff that I'm about to talk about, I would immediately just write them off like, hippy dippy crap. It doesn't work. Now, you're delusional. I mean, I guess you kind of tricked your mind into something, but that's not real. That's the guy that I was, like literally a week ago. I mean, this is a very, very drastic change that's happened in me to start to just learn to trust myself, trust my own instincts, trust my own experience, believe my own experience, and really listen to myself, listen to my body and my mind. And it tells you a lot of stuff when you actually just start listening to yourself rather than other people telling you what you should believe about the world, right? So that's the big thing that I want to just kind of keep as the umbrella over this topic. So let's get into this. Panic attacks. Okay, I've talked about anxiety and depression, but I do want to first start with panic attacks. So I had suffered from massive panic attacks in 2006 to 2000 and probably for the first 2 years, 2006, 2008, for about 2 years, I was very crippled by anxiety. What had happened is graduated college, walked off the stage and immediately packed up my truck and moved to LA, I'm from a small town in Northern California, very small, rural little town. Moved into the heart of Hollywood, in a crazy world, and then tried to jump into the music industry, interning for all kinds of companies and, completely stressing myself out. Had 4 or 5 jobs just to pay the bills. Stress levels were at 10 for myself. Got into a car accident, actually, about a month into living into LA. Nothing terrible in terms of I wasn't injured, car wasn't totaled, and the other driver either. It was the other driver's fault, but neither one of us were hurt. Cars were okay. It cost some money, obviously, but it's not the end of the world, and I didn't have any sort of physical injuries. But shortly after that, I started developing panic attacks in a car when I would drive. And of course, if you've never had a panic attack, it feels like a heart attack. It feels like you're going to die. It feels like this impending sense of doom, like death is coming, and you don't see anything around you that's dangerous, though. You're just sitting in traffic. Yeah, it's a little stressful to be in traffic, but you don't feel like it's the end of your life. So it's very confusing. It's disorienting. It's very scary. And so for a month or so, I was just suffering with this, and when it would happen, having no coping mechanism, not even knowing what to do. And one time I eventually called, I was on my way to a lifeguarding gig. Actually, lifeguarding was one of my part-time jobs. Pulled over to the side of the road because I couldn't take it anymore, because I was like not calming down. It's almost every other time before that, I'd figure out a way to somehow, after 5 or 10 minutes of it, just kind of calm myself down. But this one, it was just escalating and escalating and escalating. So I pull off the side of the road. I get out of my car. I'm like, maybe I just need to walk around. As I walk around, I kind of feel like I'm blacking out, and it's getting even worse. And there's no way of this thing going away. So I call 911. I feel like I can't even breathe. I can't even talk. And I was like, I'm on the corner of, whatever and whatever. I was up in Burbank. Please just send an ambulance. I don't know what's going on. I think I'm dying, basically. So, and I even called my mom right after it, told her as well. And I think I called my brother. And what's interesting is I, for myself, felt like I was talking like this. Like I couldn't get any air out. That's how I felt like I was talking. And I talked to them later, and they said, Jesse, you sounded totally fine. Like, we could understand everything you're saying. You weren't out of breath. You were totally speaking very coherently. So, perception is like basically what was happening there. So I go to the hospital, and of course, when you go to a hospital, what do? Pills. I mean, that's basically it. So they check my vitals, and I'm fine. I'm breathing. When you have anxiety and have a panic attack, yes, you have an elevated heart rate. You might be sweating a little bit, but your vitals are usually okay. You're not having any sort of a massive problem that's actually going to physically hurt you. It's mostly obviously psychological. So of course, the thing that they want to throw at me is, I think it was Xanax. It was like, here you go, have some Xanax. That'll take care of it. And it did in the short run, because literally I took it, and it calmed me down. And I really just felt like I went back to a baseline. I was like, okay, this is nice. And they sent me home with a prescription. I had this whole bottle of Xanax, and I was like, okay, this is going, or Xanax, and that's going to be my eject button. And so I would just take this, whatever, every day. And then I started noticing my creativity drifting away, and my personality kind of drifting away as well. Like almost feeling like I'm not even in my body anymore. I was just kind of floating around inside of it. So that was scary to me. And so I started to go back a little bit on it. And I remember having a withdrawal symptom. When I would take myself off of it, I would get dizzy, like just kind of get really dizzy, kind of out of it. And that was a really weird, scary feeling. And at one point, what started to help me is that I would just keep the bottle, because I knew it would work for like a get me out of jail free, instantly, if I needed a quick get out of this. By the way, I should have addressed the fact that, yes, you probably are seeing flickering lights on me. I put up a fireplace picture here because I was like, the lighting, some of you guys commented that you like this kind of dark lighting thing. Just happened to happen because I wanted to make this video super early. Right now it's actually 3 a.m. And so I just don't want to turn on the lights. I kind of like having dim lights, but I was like, why not make this kind of cool, like we're in a campfire? Anyway, so I should have addressed that at the very beginning. So if you guys like that, let me know. Maybe I'll keep doing this just for the effect, right? It's kind of makes it more fun. So I would keep that Xanax bottle in my car as my get out of jail if I needed to. It's like an eject button. If I can't deal with this, I'm going to eject. So that was just basically in my car, and that gave me actually some reassurance that I had some plan, something that I could do. Well, fast forward eventually, and I start reading books and looking into different ways to deal with it. I come across some book. I need to go find out what it was, but it was all about like how to, deal with anxiety medication free and without any pills. I was like, I gotta learn if there's something I can do there. And the big thing that this book was telling me was you need to essentially learn how to accept your anxiety and your fear. So I was like, I don't want to accept it. I want this gone. What are you talking about? That is stupid, right? That's what I'm originally thinking. How would I want to accept it? Like, oh, I'm going to accept this is going to be a part of my life now? Like, this is just what? You know what I'm saying? Like, so somebody who's dealing with panic attacks or depression, this really applies to depression as well. But for me, more panic attacks have been the more prominent thing. And, asking somebody like, you might want to try accepting your depression. Like, that sound like just the way that sounds, it doesn't work for people, because people who feel depressed or feel anxiety do not want to accept it because you don't want to keep it. You don't want to hold on to it. I want to help maybe clarify what that means. It's not about that you're going to live with it for the rest of your life. That's not what accepting it means. It's actually I'm going to describe it this way. This is the way that helps me understand it. It's like a cheat code. It's like a hack. It's like a way to basically trick the system, whatever the system is that's giving us these feelings and this anxiety, to essentially trick it into stop torturing you, to stop constantly trying to get your attention and trying to make you fear and try to make you, really afraid. So it's really like a hack. Like that's how I describe it. There's a truth to it. I'm not saying that it's like fake or phony or fraud or you're not scamming it or something like that. But it is sort of a way to, it's like, I don't know if you guys have gotten into or looked into anything like jujitsu, and I'm very not educated on it at all, but I do understand the concept of some of it, where it is really about, sometimes some of the moves you can use is if your opponent is leaning into you, you can use their momentum against them, right? So this is kind of your enemy, your panic attacks, your depression, your anxiety, any pain that you're feeling. It's leaning into you, right? And so it's pushing at you. And so what you can do is use that against it, right? And so you can actually do this one simple technique to basically defeat it and not play the game. Because what it's trying to do, especially with all these feelings that we feel, these negative feelings, it's trying to get you to wrestle with it. It's actually trying to pick a fight with you. And so when you sit there and you're anxious or depressed and you go, why is this happening to me? When is this going to go away? I don't deserve this. Oh my gosh, and you kind of just sit there and dwell in it and also just try to resist it, try to fight. You're actually not running away with it. What you're doing is you're actually engaging with it. You're actually like literally having a fight with it. And so you'll notice the more you do that, the worse it gets. And the more it comes around, the more it lingers, it never goes away. So now this is going to go a little deeper into another realm, which really is nothing I've talked about on this channel. So just want to put a fair warning out. This may be kind of really strange sounding to a lot of you guys. You may have never heard of this. Some of you maybe have heard of this, but I think, and my best hunch as to what pain is, especially anxiety and depression, is it's death's way of trying to get you to accept it, or your own mortality is basically knocking at your door and saying, you accept me yet? Because I'm here. I'm a part of your future, right? And that is a really scary thing to think about. So that's what I think pain, and especially when I was feeling, especially panic attacks, because panic attacks, it's like you feel death. I mean, you really do visualize death. It feels like it's right in front of you. And so when you go like, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want to confront it. I don't want it, or I don't want to accept it. I don't want to be, I just don't want this around, and I don't want to accept that this might be in my future. And I think we don't always make that connection because we're just feeling this short-term acute pain. But I do think it's just all these different forms of your mortality coming to you from the future and trying to get you to accept it. And why is it doing that? We can talk about that in future videos. I have ideas, hunches, questions as to why it's doing that. And it's not a bad thing, actually. I think it's my hunch is that it's trying to set us free in many ways and to let us to live in less fear and to actually live more boldly. So I think we won't get into that in this one, but I do think that is a lot of source of pain, is basically that crazy topic, crazy concept, which, I don't have all the answers to. That's why I'm like kind of it's hard for me to come up with the words to describe this. It's literally just like a fuzzy, hazy thing that I have a little grasp on. So I'll spend more time thinking about it, meditating on it, maybe writing some more thoughts, and we can get into that. So, but panic attacks, I started doing this thing where I was like, okay, I will accept this. Just going to accept this. And it was not easy in the beginning because it feels like I'm riding a bike for the first time and I have no balance. And I'm like, what if I say I accept it and it actually just stays with me forever? Like, what if this backfires, like the all-time backfire of my life? And it was something I regret. Like that, I was worried about that. So you will feel that when you try this out and when you start to give this a shot. There will be a lot of like, I don't know if I should even give that a shot. So what I say actually is, rather than putting yourself into that mindset of like trying to outthink it, right, and try to like convince yourself that you should do it, just use a mantra. Or a mantra is just a fancy word for a set series of words that you just repeat over and over again. You don't even have to believe them in the beginning. You just need to say it. You can say it in your mind. You can say it out loud. You just need to start to say it because what will happen is your brain will start to adapt to it, and you actually will start to believe it in time. But even if you don't believe it in time, just say it. I'll tell you the mantra that I use, or the words that I use. It's I accept this. Those 3 words. That's it. I accept this. I also say things like, this sucks. This is painful. This hurts. This is really uncomfortable. But I know this is temporary. I know that this is not me. This is a temporary sensation. And when I've been depressed, when I've been anxious, and when I've had a toothache, I'm going to tell you about that next, this works. It's worked every single time, quickly, very quickly, okay? And also, not only does it make the depression or the panic attack go away quicker, but it also doesn't come back as often. And I have now not dealt with a panic attack in years. I kind of forgot that I used to have that problem. It's been so long, actually. No medication, no pills, none of that stuff, okay? This was coming from me learning how to accept it. And so what you do is, as this thing, it's like, I kind of visualize it as a chainsaw, which is really brutal and gory, but it's like a chainsaw driving at you, and it's hitting you in some place. If you have, a toothache like I've been having, it's just driving at that point. Or if you have your anxiety or depression, it's like that death is coming down with a chainsaw, and it's just, it's just really driving at you and really hurting you. And it's really, really hard to feel that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like I feel another metaphor would be that death is calling you, and it's basically saying, do you accept me? Do you accept me? Do you accept me? And when you continuously say no, and how do you say no? Well, you say, why is this happening to me? Oh my gosh, I wish this would stop. What's wrong with me? That's all of those are different ways of you saying, no, I don't accept it. I'm not going to accept this. I'm going to resist it. I'm going to run away. I don't want to pick up the call. When you say the words, I accept this, or it's okay, I know this is uncomfortable, but I'm going to get through this, you're picking up the call and you're saying, got it. Got the message loud and clear. And so what that's doing is the signal doesn't need to continuously keep coming to you, because wherever it's coming from, let's say it's, coming from your brain, there's a signal traveling, and going, or your, I don't know if it's like, I guess wherever you're feeling pain, and maybe the signal is going up to your brain and letting it know, hey, we got a problem here. And so that's where your brain is processing that. That seems to make the most sense. So wherever that communication is happening, when you pick up the phone and actually go, okay, cool, I got it. I accept it. I hear the call. I accept this, and we're going to move forward from it. It doesn't need to continuously keep bothering you, because that's what it's doing. It's just calling, hey, big problem, big problem, big problem. And you can say, I got it. I've picked up the call. I've heard the emergency. We're on it. We're going to take care of it. Okay. So that's the best that I can possibly explain this concept right now. And I know that's kind of, it wasn't the most eloquent explanation of it, but it is what is, it's been my experience. And it's because not many people have written on this topic, I don't think. Maybe a lot of people have, but I just try to always, and now this is the big theme of my life, is I'm trying to just trust myself and just kind of go into my own truth of what's really been working for me. And with these videos, just share it with you guys. So if you want to give this a shot, you got really nothing to lose. Like, if nothing else has worked, this is free. I mean, you really don't have to pay for it. You can just do this whenever and wherever you are. You could be at work, you could be at home, you could be in your car. You can do this when you're with other people, and you could just say it inside your head. It's literally like in the privacy of your own mind. You can do this kind of stuff. So the toothache, I want to get into the toothache. So about a week ago, I've had actually 2 crowns put in less than a year ago. And I've just been having problems with all of them, just crowns popping off, sensitivity. It's just not good. I'm going to have to go to a tooth extraction as soon as we can get back to me getting into a doctor's office. But a week ago, massive, biggest toothache of my life. I'm telling you guys, 9 out of 10 of pain. Not 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 is like blackout, kind of scary emergency medical thing. But 8 or 9 out of 10, just this, and very quickly, just this rush of pain, throbbing and just never going away, and staying for minutes, 5-10 minutes at a time, maybe subduing down to a 6 and then rushing back up. So out of the blue, I don't know why, but I did remember how I dealt with anxiety and panic attacks. And I thought, that was painful. This is painful. Saying that I accepted it over here worked. Would it work for this? Why not? And what do I got to lose, right? Because I did end up talking to my dentist, and she was great, and she helped me out. She actually ended up getting me antibiotics, And I had tried, before I thought about this, I should back up. Before I thought about doing this, I had tried Tylenol, ibuprofen, Motrin, like anything that could maybe take away the pain. Nothing worked. Like nothing was even taking a dent out of that. So I talked to my dentist and I said, can you prescribe me anything? Because if I can't get in there for a couple of weeks, I can't live in pain for like 2 or 3 weeks like this. I just can't function, because literally, like, when you're in that much pain, like everything else in the world is gone. Like this is your only reality, is that much pain. So she was going to tell me, like, yeah, I can get you Percocet. I've never done Percocet, don't know anything about it. I know that it's, an opioid of some sort, and it's a painkiller, and I know that people get hooked on that stuff. But at that point, I wanted to get pain relief. And I was like, these pills at home aren't working, over the counter stuff. I got to go get something better. So I go get the prescription. She did prescribe it. I thanked her. I texted her, like, thank you, like, for being here, for being available. We should be thanking the people, like our health people, the people that take care of us, that are at least answering the call to help us out. Thank them. Make sure you do text them. Thank them for being around right now, because we need them more than ever. But when I got home, and I think just maybe having that, it was really the Percocet, like having that bottle of Percocet in front of me and then seeing on it the word opioid on it, and just hearing about this opioid epidemic and addiction and people having a lot of problems with this particular type of substance. That's when the panic attack story started to come back. And I thought, I've been here before. It was the Xanax thing. They gave me a bottle of pills and they said, this will take care of your problems. And it didn't. And it put me in a much worse place. And it wasn't the solution for it. So I think that's what triggered a little bit of this memory back there. That and what I ended up doing was, almost immediately after getting home, I not only threw away that bottle into my trash can outside, I didn't even want it in my house, but I actually opened up the lid and dumped out the pills into the dumpster. And we had a bunch of weeds and grass in there, and I wanted to spread it out inside of there to make sure that if I was tempted to want to go use it, I couldn't. I just wanted to make sure I took that off the table for myself. No temptation. I don't want to even play. Like, I don't even want to roll that dice. Like, I have this like extremely addictive substance sitting in my hands. And I'm not blaming the doctor. Like, this is the system that we're in. And, this is the tool that she has. So I'm not even putting any blame on her. And I take responsibility for myself and my own choices. But I'm just realizing, like, how the opioid problem exists. Like, this is the big problem that we have right now, is that there are people that are in real pain, that are not addicts, that aren't drug addicted, that are not drug abusers or anything like that, but they're being handed something that immediately can cause that problem, that can obviously lead them down that road. And that's really where the problem is that this is the system that we have. This is what people are going to when they have pain. And so that's why I'm trying to tell you guys and urge you guys, there are other ways to deal with your pain, and you don't have to go to a pill, because you'll find, probably more likely than not, like I have, that pills don't solve it. They might feel good, like, for a temporary amount, but you're kind of increasing your chances of bigger problems down the road. Addiction, losing a part of yourself, losing a part of your personality, your creativity. I mean, this is a death. This is a death that you could have of yourself, because you took sort of mistaking that like a pill could solve your problems, and it really can't. So I start applying this approach with my tooth. And as soon as the throbbing came on, and it wasn't a calm, like, okay, I accept this, and I was, zoning out and that kind of thing. No, I mean, it was just like, again, the chainsaw was driving and drilling at my jaw, chopping up my flesh. Like, that's what it feels like. And I'm sitting there going like this, I accept this, I accept this, I accept that. I mean, literally, like, just wincing because I cannot, and I have a massive headache. I mean, it's just terrible. And so that's how I'm saying my mantra at this point. I accept this, I accept this, I accept this. Not calm at all. But I kept on saying that. And I'm telling you guys, not lying, 5 to 10 seconds, pain just went, gone. Been 3 days now. I've had once in a while, like, I'll drink a cold fluid and it'll agitate it. And so I'll feel a little bit of something. And I still feel right now, like, out of a scale of 10, maybe a 1. Like, it's just a mild irritant. Like, there's something I can tell that's just a little bit wrong right here. But it's not what it was before. It's totally, like, gone. For all intents and purposes, it is gone. It is not even something I think about anymore. And when I do get a little bit of a flare up, let's say I drink something that might agitate it and it goes, it comes up again. It's not that, like, you do this once and it's over for the rest of your life. It's like, it'll come back and it's like, hey, we need to get on the phone again. Hey, let's let you know there's a problem here. And I go, no, I got it. It's cool. I appreciate it. Thank you for the reminder, but I accept it. It's okay. And again, repeatedly, probably 5 or 6 times, gone. 5 seconds at the most, pain's gone. What the hell? I don't know, guys. I'm not telling you that, like, I'm just telling you that this is real for me. This is happening for me. And I want to share it with you because I want you to try this. I'm actually asking each and every one of you to try this. This is your homework assignment, okay? You should maybe do at the end of these talks a little bit of a daily or a weekly homework assignment. This is the homework assignment. And so I know that if you comment below and let me know. So don't comment until you've actually done this and let me know how it works, okay? So if you comment right away, I know that you didn't make it this far into the video. So if you made it this far, whatever pain you're feeling, you have physical pain, mental pain, depression, panic attacks, anxiety, just fear, just right now you don't feel depressed, but you're just overcome by fear, whatever it is, any discomfort that you have in your life, try this. Close your eyes, just say the mantra, I accept this, I accept this, I accept this. Let me know how it goes for you. Let me know what you experience, what you feel. Does it make any difference? Does it make it worse? Does it make it better? I really want to kind of A/B compare with you guys and find out what is going on here. Like, what the hell is going on here? Because my hunch, my gut is telling me that this is actually a way to heal ourselves, like naturally, because our bodies can heal ourselves. And it has the natural ability to do that. But we have to sort of play along. We have to dance. We have to do the dance to do that, right? You can't just like, yeah, I think our bodies heal ourselves. But you actually have to learn how to manipulate that, right? How to tap into that, whatever you want to call it. Like there's some sort of a channel there. There's some sort of maybe a code. Like if this is a simulation, right? There's some sort of a code that you have to be able to tap into to get that benefit and to allow your body to heal itself. So that's what I'm looking into. That's what I'm exploring. And that's what I'm trying to figure out how this stuff works. So that's what I want you guys to do. Please comment below. Let me know what you experience, what you feel, how this works for you, if this caused, alleviated any pain for you. Because, the big reason why this video needed to go out today is because I know, especially with coronavirus, there's a lot of pain in a lot of your guys' lives, a lot of in my life too, fear, uncertainty. We're all going through that. Yes, there's a beautiful side to this, but there's also a dark side to this that a lot of people, we're all in different situations. We're not all in the same boat in terms of our living situations, our work, and all that kind of stuff. So we're all processing this on our own timelines and our own ways, and that's okay. We should all be given that sort of freedom and that space to be able to do it how we can. So I just want to alleviate as much pain in the world as I possibly can right now. And you guys never know. Like, I actually think if we can kind of talk about this and share these ideas and just spread this stuff to as many people as we possibly can, we're living in an age now where you can change the world. And I don't mean that as like, oh, it'd be cool to change the world. Like, no, I'm talking about literally, I want to change the world. Like, I'm trying to do that right now. That's my plan. That's my goal. Like, that's what I'm shooting for. Now, I need you guys to help me. Like, I can't do it myself. There's not one person that can do that. But what happens is you can spark something in somebody else. So I'm hoping right now to spark something in you, to try something new out, to see if you can alleviate your pain. And if it works for you, your responsibility then is to pass that on to somebody else that might be in pain and to try to let them know that this might work for them as well. That's the virus. That's the virus that we're creating right now. This virus of health, this virus of healing, this viral spread of people learning how to heal themselves and get more in tune with themselves. So anyways, guys, further down into the rabbit hole we go. I really want to hear what you guys think about this one. And I'm going to keep with this format for a while. We're just going to dive into this thing and see where it takes us.